file. I made mention of the fact that primarily what we're going to be doing in the course is assuming that we are reading data from a CSV file, right? Comma separated values file. And one of the first things you do is you have got to import your pandas, right? This is putative, we said. There as PD here is an alias. We know this from our Python. What you can do is you can just import pandas if you want to. But because most of the examples you find on the internet will use the alias PD, we do the same thing here. And once you do this, what you do is you actually, in this particular case, we're going to read data from this CSV file. Now, the thing about the structure of this CSV file is, again, you can use your bash commands here to look at the structure. It's, in as much as it's a comma separated values file, the separator is not a comma, is it? It's a pipe symbol. And because it's a pipe symbol, we've got to tell Python pandas that the file from where we are reading this data from has value separated with a pipe symbol, which is pretty straightforward, right? So what we do is we'll create just a variable, a simple variable, and we'll go call this student scores or something like that, right? Or maybe student database, right? I mean, you can choose to use whatever tickles your fancy here. And we're going to use one of these functions, is it? In this particular case, it's a read CSV. Now, if you look up the documentation on the read underbar CSV function, you notice that there are quite a number of parameters that you can feed it. At the bare minimum, in our case, all we're doing is we are feeding it either the absolute path to the file itself or the relative path, right? Because I'm running my interpreter right within here, I'm just going to feed it the name of the file, the CSV file. And then specify the separator, SEP, indicate that this thing is a pipe symbol. And then that's it, right? This variable, I can use the type built-in function to check what sort of data structure I'm working with, and we see that it's actually a Pandas data frame. And because it's a Pandas data frame, we made mention of the fact that there's so many different things we can do, right? Again, if you use your dir built-in function here, you have a sense of the sort of operations that you can perform on here, right? One of the obvious things that you do by way of inspecting this thing, we said, is you can check the shape, for instance, right? You can check the shape. What the shape shows you is like the structure of the data set. So in this particular case, we have 273 observations or rows, right, in our data set, and a total of 69 columns, right, like attributes associated with the data. If you want to check what sort of attributes you're working with, we said again, you can take advantage of pandas and then just run columns here, is it? And then you have a sense of the different sort of attributes that you have here, right? But what's interesting for us is would now be interested at this point to start doing things like exploring the data set, for instance, right? Or generating graphs if you want, doing your exploratory data analysis operations, if you will, or perhaps doing some sanity check. We realize that there are an array of functions, right? Operations that we can perform. Like, for instance, we can take a peek at the first couple of observations or records in our data set. By default, it shows you like 5, right? Yeah, you can specify that you want to look at what's at the tail end at the bottom, so the last 5 records if you want. Or if you want, you can overload this thing and just feed it how many number of records you want to see. So I just want to see the first 2 records or something. It's quite useful really, because sometimes, like in this particular case, 69 rows, you can't see everything, right? You can then start extracting specific attributes that you want. Or alternatively, this is my personal favorite, what you can do is you can transpose this, right? So it's I just want to look at 1 record, but what I want to do is I want to transpose this so that at least I have a different sort of view or something like that.